Hello there and welcome to a special edition of Urban Beat. I'm Michelle Sklar. We are down at the Calgary Zoo for the Zoo Lights, and I am joined here by Aaron Cunningham, who is Manager of Sales. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Now, can you talk to us about the Zoo Lights? What was the inspiration for the Zoo Lights?
Well, I think originally we're celebrating our 10th year. We were looking for something that could give people a reason to come down to the zoo in December, something that would contribute to good quality family time, something that hopefully over the years could become a tradition for many Calgary families to come down and spend some time and see the lights and have a hot chocolate and listen to the Christmas carols, and just something to add to the festive season.
Fantastic. Now, the Zoo Lights run from when to when?
This year they're running from November 30th to January the 6th.
Fantastic. Now, can you tell us what's the square footage of the zoo in terms of coverage for Zoo Lights?
Oh, you've asked me a tough one. I don't know that measurement. Let me say this, there's over 2 million lights that are put up through most of the zoo. It's only really just Canadian Wilds that doesn't have any Zoo Lights exhibits, and it's a sort of a far-reaching part going east of the zoo. But all the rest of the zoo has some aspect of Zoo Lights in it.
Wow, so over 2.5 million lights. That's pretty incredible. Now, you were talking earlier actually about the types of lights that you use insofar as being, energy and environmentally conscious.
Well, we're a conservation outfit, and we want to be sure that while it's very nice to provide this light display, we want to do it in a conservation sense. So we partner with NMAX. This whole Zoo Lights is presented by NMAX, and they help us understand how we can find ways to reduce the pull that we have, I guess, on the electrical grid by using things like LED lights that everybody can use in their own home. They use a fraction of the electricity that the older lights used. We have generators running so that we actually are producing the power ourselves versus coming off the grid. So we partner with NMAX to look for ways where we can still provide the show but have the least impact on the power grid.
Right on, that's fantastic. Now, certainly setting up for the Zoo Lights is a magnanimous job, and I know you were talking about you have to start, back in September, and you have a pretty large crew that puts it together, and I was hoping you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, we do. Zoo Lights really starts to get underway right after Labor Day, right after our Zoo Gala, which is our big fundraiser in September. Now, you won't see the crew actually on the grounds putting anything up, because the early stages are up in our storage area, getting the light displays out, checking them, making sure they're all working, because we do have to do Boo at the Zoo, which is done for Halloween. Then once that ends, then all our testing and getting it out of storage is complete. Then we actually start with, well, it can be anywhere from 8, 10, 12-man crew who start in earnest after Halloween, because there's a lot of lights to put up. Some, as you can see, are displays that really are just a matter of standing them up and making sure they're secure. But as you look around at some of the larger trees, the Tree of Life and the other one by Katamba Cafe, it's a huge lift that we have to rent that puts our workers way, way up there as they string all the lights around the tree. So it's a big task.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the displays that we have right around us here. Right here we have the giraffe display, and we thought how perfect timing with the baby giraffe here featured. The zoo actually just had a little baby giraffe, Richard.
That's right.
You were talking about, and maybe you could talk to us a little bit about the birth of Richard and what's taken there.
Well, we were very fortunate. In November, we had Marty, one of our female giraffes, gave birth to a 6'4" young boy. He was named Richard.
Can't even imagine.
That's a big child. He was born. He's doing extremely well. He's bonded with his mother. He's up and about. In fact, he's out in the public view now. He was named Richard. He was named after one of the Harvey family, I think, grandsons. It's been a long-standing tradition that the Harveys have been involved in naming new animals. In fact, our gardens are the Dorothy Harvey Gardens, named after that family. They've been huge, long-time supporters of the zoo, and they've been involved in naming the giraffe. So Richard came along. He's doing fantastic. He's out every day. He's out a little bit more, getting a little bit more robust as he gets his legs. You can imagine at 6'4", he's a little wobbly at first, but he's doing great, and he's got quite a personality.
Wow. Now, behind us as well, we have the Tree of Life, and I was hoping that you could talk to us about why a Tree of Life here at the Calgary Zoo.
Well, the Tree of Life is it's a cornerstone for us. It's what we're about, is life. and it always has almost been the anchor piece for us. It's a huge big tree that you can see is lit up, and we hang different animals in it whenever we have any sort of ceremonies or anything around zoo lights. It always happens at the base of the Tree of Life, because it's what we stand for, and it couldn't be a more fitting symbol for the zoo and for what Zoo Lights is about.
Wonderful. Now, just before we finish off here, Aaron, you also mentioned a few other, areas or particular light displays that we're going to be seeing this evening. Candy Cane Lane, I think, was one, and there was another one, and I was hoping you could just tell us a little bit about those.
Well, we have a number of the exhibits that have been with us a long time. They're just foundations of it. We try and bring in something new each year, and we change up the locations of it, but things like Candy Cane Lane, the Tunnel of Love, all of these things are just standards. As we've walked, we've looked at displays about hockey in the Calgary Flames. We looked at bobsledding. I mean, things that just mean what Calgary's about. We try and have a display about them. And as I say, we change location, but there's some that have just been with us for years and years and have just become part of Zoo Lights.
Fantastic. Now, you were saying earlier as well that you have about over 110,000 people that typically come through the Zoo Lights.
Yeah, that'll be what our target is. It'll be in excess of 110,000. Last year we had 134,000 people come. Like anything, it's a bit weather dependent, although we're a hardy bunch in Calgary, so the cold weather doesn't really stop us, but you get a blizzardy night and cold weather and blowing snow, that kind of slows it down a bit. So we keep our fingers crossed that the weather is comfortable for a walk around. We love snow. Snow is great because it just adds to the magic. You know, I mean, we can have a brown Christmas in Calgary, and that's okay. The lights are no less spectacular, but the snow just adds that extra little bit of magic.
Right. And of course, people can enjoy hot chocolate, you were saying, and there's some different fire pits around and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we have choirs. We have 2 choirs a night that come and sing on the grounds from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And as you say, fires and places to warm up like Katamba where you can get a hot chocolate and just spend some good family time.
Fantastic. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This certainly has been a spectacular tour of the Zoo Lights. And we're down here at the Calgary Zoo. I was speaking with Aaron Cunningham, who is Manager of Sales for the Calgary Zoo. This has been a special edition of Urban Beat. I'm Michelle Sklar.